With all the changes this offseason, the Arizona Cardinals are just flat out running it back on offense. What's it going to look like in 2025? I'll tell you one thing. It's still going to look different than what we saw last year. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast. And on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. 15 years in sports media in Phoenix, 10th year hosting this podcast, 9th season. Man, we're ramping, baby. We are ramping for what's set to be the most exciting season for the Arizona Cardinals in recent memory. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So on today's show, it's wait and see on defense during camp. I'll explain what I mean in the final segment. Trey McBride ranked the 65th best player in the NFL going into 2025, why I think that's exactly where he should be, and it's really the floor for what we're going to see for the remainder of his career. That'll be in the second segment. And first, I know that this has happened, and I know it's something that we tangentially talked about because, the things surrounding Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing and Trey McBride, especially Marv in his second year, and all of the backup dancers that are going to make this offense elevate in 2025. But really, if you look at the depth chart, it's exactly the same as last year. Aside from Will Hernandez at right guard, you're going to pop Isaiah Adams in there. We'll see if Jonah Williams is healthy for week one, or if it's going to be Kelvin Beachum. But all in all, the Arizona Cardinals are absolutely running it back in 2025, which is kind of bananas to think, even though I think it's exactly how it should be. So it's kind of a tug of war with myself as you start to see the depth chart slowly roll out. And why I think it's going to be different, I'll explain in a couple phases. I think, with the pass game, I've talked about it a lot. I think Greg Dortch is going to emerge. I think Michael Wilson is going to get better. I think they're going to use Elijah Higgins a little bit more. The offense is going to look different. And, maybe you throw in Xavier Weaver in there. You throw in Zay Jones. They've got some dudes in the wide receiver room, okay? But for me, predominantly, I think the running game is going to look different. I'll talk about that second. Regarding the pass game, and why the Cardinals are running it back, they've got enough. They've got enough, and you can't just look at the wide receiver room. The best pass catcher the Arizona Cardinals have is their tight end. If Marvin Harrison Jr. rips that away from Trey McBride this year, Cardinals are winning double-digit games. If they've got two demons in the pass catcher room, the Cardinals are winning a whole bunch of football games this year. And you expect for that to happen. It's not something where it's like, okay, if Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't have 1,200 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns, it's a bad year for him. I don't think that's the case. I think predominantly because this is a run-first offense, and it's a little bit more methodical, and they don't, they're not rushing to the offensive line. They're not rushing to the line to run 90 plays on offense every game. It's just going to be a little bit different than when you look at Minnesota or you look in Kansas City, you look in Cincinnati. It's just different. It's just different. Them running it back will still look vastly different this year. You're going to see an emergence of a wide receiver too. I don't know who it is. We talked on the squad show last night. If you haven't checked out the Locked On Cardinals squad show with myself, Ben Garcia, and Jameel Douglas, we do it 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday for now until the season starts. We do an hour. We do it live. It's going to be at 6 o'clock Pacific, or I guess 6 o'clock Arizona time, and that's going to change in October. But we talked about this. I think Greg Dortch could be the dude. I don't care about his height. I don't really care that he's not your run-of-the-mill wide receiver too. He's looked at as a dude, in my opinion, who can shatter opposing defensive schemes with his skill set, because nobody else on the Arizona Cardinals roster has a specific skill set. So if you're able to utilize him more than when the season is over, more than when they're out of playoff contention, I think it's going to benefit everybody. I think it's going to benefit Marv. It's going to benefit Trey McBride. It's going to benefit all the pass catchers. If you can have this slippery dude, whether he's lining up in the slot or lining up outside, drag routes, angle routes, whatever, you can have him run running back routes out of the backfield. The dude catches the ball. He's 0 to 60 in 2 seconds flat. He's the only player on the Arizona Cardinals pass catching, roster that can do that. Xavier Weaver's fast, sure, but Greg Dortch is like, I don't care that he's 5'8". The dude's got scoot. He and Kyler Murray have a good relationship. He just needs more looks. It's going to unlock everything. So even though they're running it back, with pretty much the exact offense that they had last year, how they utilize their dudes as compared to last year when looking towards this year in the future will be different. It has to be, or there are going to be some massive changes at the end of this season. Now, for the running back room, this is where I think you're going to see shift is the wrong word, but the biggest shakeup. And it's not to say that Trey Benson or Amari Demercado are going to overtake James Conner as RB1. No, don't be silly. But I do think that the dispersion of touches will get a lot closer to each other. I don't think this is going to be a 70-30 backfield. I think this is going to be something where, and this is all predicated upon Trey Benson taking that step or Amari Demercado leapfrogging him to be RB2. There's going to be less dispersion of touches among everybody not named James Conner, centralized around one dude, one guy. I don't care who it is, but it's got to be glaring. I said last week, I think it was last week, days, weeks, months, they all blend together, that I think Trey Benson should get all of the reps that James Conner's not getting. And if it still doesn't show that he's your bona fide RB2, you give it to Amari Demercado. Who cares that he was drafted in the 3rd round? Like, at this point, it doesn't matter. Who the best player is going to be RB2. The thing that you can't have is like 4 dudes backing up James Conner. It's like, oh, let's go with the hot hand. No, let's go. It's like, no. Find the dude, stick with the dude. If he's not the dude, move on to another dude. This lollygagging between guys, it's like, I want 2 guys toting the rock. James Conner and one other dude. And sure, with different situations, if you've got, 3rd and 30 and you want to bring Amari Demercado and Michael Carter on, like, this is not a knock on Amari Demercado or Michael Carter or Tony Jones if they have him on the roster for any reason. Like, he's just a guy that's been floating around. While the roster on the offensive side of the ball is pretty much rinse and repeat from what it was last year, the allocation of how it's used touches-wise needs to change. For passing, for the pass catching room, it needs to be dispersed more. For the running back room, it needs to be centralized with one dude behind James Conner. And of course, this isn't a perfect world. This is in a perfect world, in a vacuum. So them running it back, for me, is not a slight. It's not a backtrack. It's not a, oh no, they've missed something. It's they just need to do it better than they did last year with the same guys. And with Marv taking a step, with Trey McBride no longer after this year, I would assume to be looked at as the 5th or 6th best tight end in the league, which is a joke. Numbers-wise, though, I understood it from last year, which I'll talk about in the next segment. And then you have James Conner slowly start to solar eclipse it with whoever RB2 is. This is not the transformation from RB1 to the LeGarrette Blount role, which I've been screaming for. But this is the slow start, the slow approach where the sun and the moon are starting to begin the eclipse, where Trey Benson, you hope, would start to take over some of the RB1 duties, even if it's just a fraction of them, so you can see what it's going to look like 2 years from now or 3 years from now. This is the year where that's slowly going to start happening, if I had anything to say about it. Because it's going to make everybody stronger. James Conner doesn't need all the touches. He needs the right touches. Let the kid eat between the 20s. Inside the 10, James Conner is one of the best guys around the end zone, around the goal line, around Pater that we've got in this league. He will get those touches. This isn't something where it's like, oh, Trey Benson deserves goal line touches. I never said that. I said he needs more run. Allow James Conner to be more, fresh, down the stretch, not only down the stretch in early games, but down the stretch, week 15, week 16, week 17, week 18, and you hope into the playoffs. It's a culmination of everything with the running back room. And that's why, with both the pass catchers and the running back room, the Cardinals running it back isn't a bad thing. It just needs to be shifted a little bit from how they ran the offense in 2024. Trey McBride, 65th on the top 100 list. That's exactly where he's supposed to be. Why? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? Well, with Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat, and it's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. And Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Like for me, seeing everything in one place, for me predominantly, was like, well, how much money are you spending on food? Like that was one of the biggest things. And this isn't like oh, well, if you stop going to Starbucks, you'll be able to buy a mansion. No. This is much more realistic. If you can cut back a little bit here and there, you have funds to allocate elsewhere. And Monarch Money's helped me with that. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. Today's episode is also brought to you by Reshape. Guys, you probably heard of Viagra or Cialis, but maybe, you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Reshape Ready. Reshape Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Usually, the usual pill can take hours. Reshape's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, usually in under 15 minutes. Efforts, and it can last up to 36 hours, man. It's a day and a half. So you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL and use promo code LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. So, listen, I'm not worried about the Cardinals' offense because when it comes down to it, you come here for the hard-hitting stuff. When it comes down to it, it's either going to work this year or it's not. If it does, you could be talking contract extensions for Kyler Murray. If it doesn't, you could be talking Kyler Murray or somebody else. Don't know what's going to happen. I'm more swayed towards the former than the latter, but we'll see. Either way, adding another average piece wasn't going to tip the scales for this offense. It's good as is. Now let's see if they can improve upon their production from last season. Trey McBride ranked 65th best player in the NFL going into 2025. I think it's exactly where he's supposed to be. Okay, that means that, so this is because he's 65th, I can use this. Every NFL team has 2 players on this list. They don't. There's much more Eagles than there are Jacksonville Jaguars, okay? But looking at it like that, okay, he's one of the 2 best players on his team in the NFL. It makes sense. There's so many position groups. Look at all the premium positions that are going to be rated in front of him. Quarterback, offensive line, wide receiver, running back, pass rushers, interior defensive linemen. Trey McBride had 1,100 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns last year. I don't care that he had over 100 receptions. 10 yards of reception is not a flex. It's not a flex. There were a whole bunch of dump downs to Trey McBride because the offense was somewhat broken in the pass game when you couldn't get everybody else involved. Part of this had to do with the combination of Marvin Harrison Jr. being a rookie, as well as getting bracketed coverage from a safety over the top for a good portion of his rookie year. All the while, Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing were unable to figure out how to get Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, Elijah Higgins, Zay Jones involved, even though Zay Jones missed the first 6 games. Trey McBride is the microcosm of the Arizona Cardinals going into 2025. You got to earn it. And Trey McBride has earned it. Every year he's gotten exponentially better. Okay. This is not a knock on him by any stretch. I still think he's the third best tight end in the league, maybe second behind George Kittle. I still think George Kittle is the best tight end in the league. He's leapfrog Travis Kelce. I don't know why Sam Laporta and TJ Hawkinson are getting so much more run. I would take Trey McBride over both of them in a heartbeat. But when you look at Trey and you look especially, like if he had the same numbers last year with 10 touchdowns, he's in the top 50. Because those are all pro numbers. He had 4 total touchdowns last year. 1 was a rush. 1 was falling on a fumble. And the other 2 were receiving touchdowns. That's not top 50. That's not top 50. So it's a great microcosm for the Arizona Cardinals because the Cardinals had a pretty good year last year, but they couldn't get it done when it mattered, just like getting into the end zone for a tight end if you're going to compare those tangentially. And that's fine. It's like every list the Cardinals are on this year. Oh, they're not getting the respect. They don't deserve the respect yet. Just because you had a good offseason doesn't mean you've earned anything yet. And that's not, it's pretty normal thought process. You know, Trey McBride was great last year. 2 touchdowns. Kyler Murray, scheming, defensive scheme against him because he is an elite tight end, more running the ball around inside the 10-yard line. Like, that's one of the things that is going to handcuff, and this is not necessarily a bad thing. If the Cardinals get in the end zone, they get in the end zone. But it's going to handcuff Marv in some capacity. It's going to handcuff Trey. If inside the 5-yard line, it's James Conner first, James Conner second. And it should be. But that also doesn't mean that Trey McBride should only have 2 touchdowns. He got close so many times last year. Inside the 5, catch down at the 5. Couple dropsies, couple bad throws by Kyler Murray, like the one against the Rams that ended the game. But Trey McBride at number 65 is exactly where he should be. And that's exactly where the Cardinals should be. B- C+ look. And this is something that year over year changes drastically all the time with teams. The thing about the Cardinals as camp starts today, and like for me, as long as there are no oh no moments, like camp is business as usual. Dude showing up, no pads yet, running some routes. Like I'm not going to be a guy who gets super excited that Kyler Murray completed a pass to Marvin Harrison Jr. for 40 yards down the field. It's like, it's pretty. It's like, inject that into my veins because I'm so excited for football and we're a couple weeks out from the first preseason game. Like inject it. Jet fuel. Give me all of it. Give me complete blood transfusion with only throws from Kyler Murray to Marv and other, receivers. Give me it all. But it doesn't mean anything at all. Especially because they didn't add anybody else on offense. So it's business as usual. With the defense, as I'm going to discuss in the next segment, a lot more interesting. A lot more position group competitions. There's a lot. But, buttoning up the Trey McBride conversation, it's like the dude is a stud. And he's not even close to how good he's going to be. Like, maybe he's close. That's not fair. He's on the precipice of being the best tight end for a 5 or 6 year stretch soon. But he's not there yet, just like the Cardinals. The Cardinals are on the precipice of perpetual relevancy if things work out the way it looks like they could. You're not expecting it, but you're like, well, that's not maybe true. Maybe part of you are expecting, but it's not a guarantee. Not only, it's like, well, nothing is a guarantee in the league. Shut up. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, like the Chiefs are going to be good this year. Well, you don't know. Everybody could get hurt and they could be a 3-win team. Stop it. We don't do that here. We don't do that here on Locked On Cardinals. But, you'd expect improvement from an 8-9 season for sure. And you'd expect Trey McBride's numbers to look different this year. I'm looking at 90 catches, around the same receiving yards, and 10 touchdowns. That's what I'm looking at. And if that's the case, he'll be top 50 next year because he will be arguably the best tight end in football. But you got to wait till next year. Got to earn it. And he will. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. It's more of a wait-and-see approach with the Arizona Cardinals defense. What the depth chart's going to look like. It's very early. What are going to be the determining factors on this wait-and-see approach? It's got a lot to do with the rookies. We'll discuss it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends over at Yahoo Fantasy. Fantasy football is back. Fire up the group chat. Get your draft boards ready. Buckle up for a season filled with breakouts, busts, and all the overreactions we live for. It's all going down on Yahoo Fantasy. I'm so excited for Yahoo. So for me, I've got a league that has been going on. This shows I'm old. Over 20 years. And it's only been on Yahoo, only on Yahoo Fantasy. We wouldn't change it for the world. So whether you're a first-timer or a veteran making your millionth league, check out Yahoo Fantasy to celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness. Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win. It all begins August 4th, a couple weeks away. Stay tuned and get started now, creating or joining a Yahoo Fantasy Football League at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. That's yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. And let's make this fantasy season the best one yet. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. Hit it. Hit it. We're 3 away from, I just looked before the show, 3 away from 4,000. Do your boy a favor. Let's get to that 4K mark, and then the 5K mark, and then the 6K mark, and then more. Just want to spread the wealth, man. Spread the love. It's the best part of my day. Thank you for sharing it with me. The wait-and-see approach on defense is not as loosey-goosey as wait-and-see sounds like. This is completely predicated upon what the rookies do in camp and in the preseason. It's solely predicated upon that because the rest is kind of etched. You know, you've got Budda Baker, you've got Jalen Thompson, you've got Rabbit over the top. Is there a chance that Taylor-Demerson is starting week 4 over Jalen Thompson? Probably not, unless Jalen Thompson continues his production from last year to this year. He had flashes last year, but this was the first year where he looked not like Jalen Thompson. And again, could be a new scheme with a bunch of new players. I know it was second year in the scheme, but he could have just struggled. People have bad chunks of playing football is hard. Okay. But Taylor-Demerson, Keaton Crawford out of Nevada, we'll see if he gets any run. He's the guy probably has the least chance to play meaningful snaps out of any of the rookies this year. But then the more important, not quote unquote every position is important, but the more popcorny ones, Walter Nolan. Okay. Is he going to be on the starting depth chart come week 1? I would assume not. If it's 50-50, tie goes to the rook. It's not going to be it's not an original story that a rookie comes in and is like, oh, no. Look at me, guys. I'm ready to rip right away. I just don't think so. I think Will Johnson will start week 1, barring any sort of setback, barring any sort of he forgets how to play football. I think that's the easiest path for a rookie to start in week 1, but it is predicated upon the rookies. Is it going to be Starling Thomas week 1? We don't know. Will Johnson has the inside track just because of his pedigree in college, but Starling Thomas played really good, meaningful football last year. The outside one, Jordan Burch, it's a very, very, very crowded room. This is one where, for the pass rush, maybe this is the one that is outside of it's solely predicated on what rookies do because they got so many dudes already. I mean, you could see Darius Robinson as a rookie. You could see Bijah Ojulari as a 2-year medical red shirt rookie. Baron Browning, who's probably going to be the starter outside of Josh Sweat. We'll see what Zaven Collins can do if he's going to be a rotational dude on run downs because he's been so effective and efficient in that world, or if he's going to be a little bit lost on the depth chart. We don't know. This is going to be one that's going to be more veteran laden who's going to start alongside Josh Sweat. The most fun one for me, because I love being a nerd about football. And I love the storyline from college to the NFL because we've been so removed from it, whether it be fans, media members, whatever it is during the last regime. It's like, oh, the Cardinals have drafted in the same draft the last 2 defensive MVP of the national championship games in Will Johnson and Cody Simon. So it's just an interesting case study in the transference from college level to the NFL and the immediacy of it if those guys are going to start week one. But it's like, you don't luck into the defensive MVP of the national championship game as a player. While it is an isolated game, the body of work getting up to it obviously means you're an elite player, and then you just completely expose it in the national championship game. The Cardinals drafted two of them, the last two in the same draft. Pretty good. So for me, the nerd out here is, can Cody Simon start week one wearing the green dot alongside Mac Wilson at the off-ball linebacker position? It's a tough position. He's not great in coverage. Many off-ball linebackers aren't. I understand that Akeem Davis-Gaither maybe he has the inside track coming over from Cleveland. Cincinnati, cap casualty. I mean, they paid all of the players named T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but really nobody else. I think it's down to those two dudes, but dude, are you kidding me? Cody Simon wins that job, this Cardinals defense. Like, if he wins that job, it's a very important job, but it can be like if it is ADG going into week one, if that's the weakest position that the Cardinals have on the defense, as I mentioned myriad times on this show, they were insulated with a lot of talent on the outside that can cover up a little bit, and that's what Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson do, man. It's what they do, and I'm sure it's what Taylor-Demerson is going to learn to do also. Is just cover up weaknesses. So when you look at, from the beginning of this show, the Cardinals running it back on offense, hopefully just, expanding their vistas with dispersion of targets in the pass game, which will unlock better, more constructive looks for Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr., picking one running back to play behind James Conner and getting the lion's share of the RB2 touches, unifying those two could skyrocket this offense. It doesn't matter if they didn't add a piece, if they added a piece or not. Trey McBride being number 65 on the top 100 list, exactly where he should be, 2 touchdowns. He's a top 3 tight end in my opinion. He's got to put the numbers up to get on the ratings board higher than what 65 is. And then the wait-and-see approach on defense, what rookies are going to take those roles? Who's going to be the pass rusher alongside Josh Sweat in the opening day, the week one depth chart? It's going to be really fun. These are all good questions. These are all great question marks to have. Not, oh no, do the Cardinals have enough talent in a given position? You could say it could be wide receiver. When your best pass catcher is a tight end, it's a little bit of a different conversation, and that's why I try to provide it with all the angles necessary for you guys to, think what you want to think. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I will talk to you tomorrow.